Hi, this is Zach. Um, I'm sorry for the noise you might hear. A lot of people are in the house right now, but I'm going to read off my segment notes I took over the course of the semester. They're right here. I got 3 pages full of them. I don't have any note cards because I'm just write on paper, but let's start. So, PBIS is the positive behavior intervention and support that school systems follow by to help students really feel like they're welcome and that they have a support system behind them that they might not get at home. The Tier 1 intervention is called the primary prevention, which captures 80% of students' behaviors. It's pretty big. And the Tier 2 intervention is called the secondary prevention, which is a specialized group that catches about 15% of students' behaviors. If you can't tell the pattern, we're starting to get a little lower and lower. And the last tier is called the tertiary prevention, which specializes in the individual system for the 5% of the high-risk behavior people. That's kind of insane. Rules are what you expect students to follow by and set to in a positive manner. If you want someone to follow a rule or follow your lead, you don't want to yell at them. You want to go in with a positive, collective, calm voice. Behavior-specific praise is it's like whenever I call on a student and comment on how well he's behaving or how well he's doing. Like, hey Joey, good job on the homework last night. Hey John, thank you for walking the hallways instead of running. Pre-corrections is when you give a brief reminder on what is expected before someone is about to or someone might break it. Like, for example, if we're lining up to go to the cafeteria, we're like, hey guys, before we walk in the hallway, remember we are supposed to be at a level 0, quiet, single file line, something along those lines. Proximity control is whenever I teach, I want to start being close to students and being engagement to them so they're engaged to me too. So looking at each little spot in the classroom, being able to see where I'm needed and start walking that way. And give them opportunities to respond. I would give students different ways to respond, like verbally, like talking aloud, calling on them when they raise their hands, or giving them a whiteboard and showing me the answer so I understand that they can write it down and understand it. And then also maybe put them in groups, so they all, in group of 4 or 5, have to talk about it, and you have one representative from each group talk. So it makes it a little easier. Topography is what a behavior looks like. For example, aggression, disruption, and tantrum, kind of all within a bad term of aggression being a little bit more like physical, disruption just causing a nuisance in class, and tantrum, they just want everyone's attention. Which leads me to what it is antecedent is what happens before the behavior, and that this behavior takes place in a set of other antecedent conditions. So kind of what leads up to it, what's going on that makes them act this way. And also then it leads to step 2 on the ABC, behavior. Behavior is shaped, selected, and maintained, but also must be observed and measurable. You have to be able to see what's going on, being able to see how far it's taking them, what's going on, how long it's taking them. And then last but not least is see what's the consequence. It's what happens after the incident, what punishment, what you're going to do going forward. 4 functions of behavior is escape, attention, access to intangibles, and automatic reinforcements. Escape is when a student tries to get away from a punishment of certain people, finds the little loopholes, finds any way to not be in trouble. Attention is when a student starts the behavior, wants to see everyone to see, and then want to acknowledge him or her and laugh or do something along those lines. Access to intangibles is when a student can access certain items or activities. If they're in trouble and they get to access certain things, you're kind of not really staying to your word. And then you have automatic reinforcements, which is when someone else has to step in and help the teacher with the student, like they can't handle it. They need someone else to step in to help them because it's too much. And reinforcements is a consequence that occurs after the behavior that can help maintain and increase behavior. Like step in, like I said. Punishment is what is issued after the behavior, and it depends on how bad the behavior was, what the student did, and you correspond to a timeout, just a little bit, or how some schools do ISS, where it's in school suspension and they're completely taken away from everybody. Kind of just depending on what the punishment is and what's going on. And then you have timeout. See what I did there? It's pretty catchy. Timeout is a consequence that removes a negative behavior away from the classroom and should be taken out and not be able to participate. But if they are, there are certain timeouts where, they can't participate. They can be in the classroom, but they can't participate in certain events. For me, I personally believe that they should be taken out entirely. They should not be in the classroom because all they're doing is just sitting there, arms crossed, and then one in the classroom is going to look at them. If they're taken out, they will not be a nuisance to anyone. They will be gone. The pre-mark principle, aka grandma's rule. When you want to do one thing, you will then be able to do another. So if you say, as a teacher, if you say, okay, if everyone finishes their homework in 15 minutes, the rest of the class, y'all can do whatever else you want. It's kind of it's a two-way street. Or if some people say, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. If you do this one thing for me, you can do something else. Or if you want to do this, you have to do this first. It kind of goes back and forth. Behavior monumentum is a concept that makes for easier responses to more difficult tasks. Like you can create in saying over and over again, having them answer it, makes it easier makes them more confident in what they say. And then you have the last but not least, the token economy system, which is an award system that uses the rewards from academics or good job or good things to attract students to do well, that make them want to inspire, makes them want to go farther. And, that's all I have for this. Thank you so much.